Hi friends. Stand tall with me. Shoulders aligned. Chin lifted. Energy centered. Because today we are not just talking about being liked. We are talking about awareness. We are talking about Barbie's guide to becoming socially aware sparkles. And social awareness, my dear, is the crown jewel of influence. It is the invisible accessory that completes every outfit. It is the silent music playing in the dream house that only the emotionally intelligent can hear. Most people move through rooms half awake. Vose will not. You will walk in observant, present, intentional. Social awareness begins before you speak. It begins with noticing who is energized, who is uncomfortable, who is leading, who is shrinking. You are not entering to dominate. You are entering to understand. When you step into a meeting, you don't rush to talk. You read the emotional weather. Is it tense? Is it collaborative? Is it competitive? Awareness allows adjustment. Adjustment creates mastery. At a coffee shop, you notice the barista's tired eyes. You soften your tone. You offer patience. You say thank you with intention. You just shifted someone's morning. At family dinners, you sense rising tension before voices lift. You lower yours deliberately. You introduce common ground. You stabilize the energy. That is leadership without a title. When someone speaks, you watch their body language. Are their shoulders tight? Are they avoiding eye contact? Words tell stories. Bodies tell truths. In networking spaces, you observe before approaching. Who looks isolated? Who looks overwhelmed? You choose connection strategically. Awareness creates meaningful entry points. At work, if a colleague presents nervously, you notice. You nod supportively. You maintain encouraging eye contact. You become their anchor. If someone interrupts you, you assess intent before reacting. Was it enthusiasm? Was it dominance? Discernment shapes response. When someone criticizes you, you pause. You observe their tone, posture, timing. You respond proportionally, not emotionally. That is social intelligence. In public spaces, you are mindful of your volume. Your presence does not overwhelm. It complements. At the gym, you sense when someone needs encouragement versus space. You adjust accordingly. Awareness respects boundaries. On social media, you read context before commenting. Timing matters. Tone matters. Energy translates even digitally. When someone is celebrating, you match their excitement. When someone is grieving, you soften your expression. Adaptability signals empathy. At dinner parties, you notice who hasn't spoken. You gently invite them in. Inclusion begins with observation. In meetings, you sense shifting dynamics. You recognize when collaboration turns competitive. You redirect to shared goals. Awareness preserves harmony. When tension builds, you regulate your breathing. Calm physiology stabilizes environments. You do not absorb chaos. You neutralize it. At family gatherings, you anticipate sensitive topics. You steer conversations wisely. Proactive awareness prevents unnecessary conflict. When meeting someone new, you notice their pace of speech. You subtly mirror it. Mirroring builds subconscious comfort. In professional spaces, you recognize power dynamics. You communicate respectfully without shrinking. Balance builds credibility. When someone feels excluded, you sense it instantly. You open space. Awareness sees the invisible. At home, you observe emotional shifts in loved ones. You ask gentle questions. You listen without rushing solutions. Presence builds trust. When you walk into any room, you pause for 1 second. Scan. Assess. Align. That second transforms reaction into intention. Social awareness also means self-awareness. You monitor your tone, your facial expressions, your posture, your timing, because how you show up affects everyone else. If you are stressed, you do not project it carelessly. You regulate first, then respond. At work, you sense when a colleague needs support rather than competition. You adjust your approach. Collaboration grows influence. In romantic settings, you observe comfort levels. You respect boundaries naturally. At public events, you gauge audience engagement. You adapt your communication accordingly. Flexibility demonstrates intelligence. When someone jokes, you assess appropriateness before laughing. Discernment protects dignity. At grocery stores, you remain spatially aware. Courtesy in movement reflects awareness in character. In group discussions, you notice when energy dips. You inject optimism thoughtfully. Awareness manages momentum. If someone appears defensive, you soften your language. Lower tone, slower pace. Strategic empathy diffuses tension. In leadership roles, you anticipate objections before they arise. Preparation reflects perception. When you speak, you consider context. Who is listening? What do they value? Effective communication begins with awareness of audience. At celebrations, you read emotional subtleties. You amplify joy appropriately. At solemn events, you reduce vibrancy respectfully. Emotional calibration is power. When you receive praise, you assess sincerity and respond gracefully. Awareness guides reaction. In arguments, you listen for underlying fears, not just surface words. Understanding dissolves resistance. At social events, you observe group dynamics before joining. You enter strategically. When someone shares vulnerability, you match depth carefully. Reciprocity builds connection. Social awareness is not hypervigilance. It is intentional attentiveness. It is emotional literacy. It is strategic sensitivity. Barbie navigates rooms like a conductor. She hears every instrument. She balances every note. She anticipates crescendos. She softens discord. And you can do the same. Every hallway is practice. Every checkout line is training. Every meeting is rehearsal. Every dinner table is a classroom. You are not overwhelmed by social complexity. You are equipped for it. Because awareness creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates influence. And when vocè consistently observe, adjust, and respond with empathy, you become socially intelligent. You become emotionally agile. You become the calm in crowded rooms. You become the bridge in divided conversations. You become the quiet leader others rely on, not because you speak the loudest, but because you see the most. And in a world that rushes, awareness is rare. Rare is powerful. Powerful is unforgettable. So tomorrow, pause before reacting. Observe before speaking. Align before acting. And remember, the most elegant accessory you can wear is awareness. Sparkles.